Now, Tourism Minister Patricia de Lille wants SA Tourism to scrap the controversial Tottenham Hotspur deal. It would have seen the country pay the English football team almost R1 billion for sponsorship spanning over 3 seasons. The Minister joins us now to expand on this. Very good evening to you, Minister. Thank you so much for your time. In your first media briefing as Minister of Tourism, you sought to really just allay public concern over this very controversial sponsorship proposal, which has caused an uproar, rightfully so, because, I mean, it would have seen SA Tourism spending R1 billion to sponsor this Premier League team. I know you've tried to obtain legal advice regarding this matter. You have obtained it. You've since declared the deal unlawful and invalid. What did you encounter?
Yes, you are right, Mpo. I did seek legal opinion, and the legal opinion suggests that that the deal is unconstitutional in terms of Section 217. It's also in conflict with the Public Finance Management Act, and there's also no clarity as to whether the deal has been budgeted for. I have now written to the board on the 22nd of March asking them to give me some answers before by Wednesday, the 29th of March. And the first question that I want the board to answer, is this deal still going ahead? If it has been cancelled, can I get proof of the cancellation? Also, the board decision of the 31st of January approved the deal subject to the consultation with the Minister of Tourism and the Minister of Finance. I have also asked them, do they see this as a significant deal? And are they going to consult with me? And if so, when are they going to consult? I've also written to the Minister of Finance on the 10th of March, and I'm still waiting a response from him. I also asked them to show me the budget, because if there's no budget or this is not being budgeted for, why can't this expenditure not be unauthorized or irregular? So by Wednesday close of business, I expect an answer to that. But I am convinced with the information before me so far that my advice to the board is that this deal be stopped completely. So on Wednesday, hopefully we can put this thing behind us once and for all, once I receive the 3 questions answered by the board that I have sent to them on the 22nd of March.
Because what we know, Minister, is that SA Board Chair, Tozamile Botha, has continued to claim that SA tourism executives were about to embark on the required stakeholder engagements when the decision of the board was now leaked to the media. I mean, is there any proof that his remarks are accurate? Because according to presentations on the deal obtained by Daily Maverick, it was suggested that President Cyril Ramaphosa would have announced the sponsorship during his State of the Nation address, which would have been about less than 2 weeks later. This in itself begging the question of how the necessary engagements would have been completed by that time. So there are still many questions here.
Oh, most definitely. The board took this decision on the 31st of January. We are now on the 26th of March. And they did approve it subject to consultation with the minister. And that's why in my letter to them of the 22nd, I asked them, do you see this deal significant enough to consult with the minister? And if so, when? So there's also no evidence that I can find that they have consulted with my predecessor. So this is something that I've inherited, and I do need to respond to things officially, and therefore I have written the letter to them. This deal has met with so much controversy in our country, and therefore we need to answer the questions from the public clearly and honestly. And I can only do so if the board by Wednesday give me the answers that I need. But what I've seen so far and what is at my disposal, the information, including a report of the Portfolio Committee on Tourism, they met on the 21st of February already. That report is up for the debate in Parliament. They also did not approve of this and also questioned the procedures that were followed. Now, I would have expected if the board approved this deal already in January, we're now almost at the end of March. When are they going to consult?
As you make mention of your predecessor, Minister Lindiwe Sisulu, she had maintained at the time that this controversial sponsorship deal didn't need her permission. Did you at all get a handover from her on her position, just confirming it in writing as to how she fits into the picture?
No, I didn't get anything in writing in terms of a handover from previous Minister Sisulu. That is why I started off by getting a legal opinion on this. Now, South African tourism is an entity established in terms of the Tourism Act. And therefore, the budget from SA Tourism comes from the Department of Tourism. We give almost 59% of the budget of the tourism department to South African tourism as an entity. And therefore, because the budget comes from the Department of Tourism, I am accountable to Parliament and they are accountable to the Minister. And therefore, they cannot take decisions like this, significant expenditure, without the approval of the Minister. So certainly, I think we have to put these things in perspective. If they think that they are a private company and they are not getting money from taxpayers, then they can say they don't need to consult the Minister. But because they are getting money from the fiscus, from taxpayers' money, they must be held accountable for every cent. And I will make sure that we hold anybody accountable in the department and in the South African tourism as an entity. I get questions on a daily basis from a number of members of Parliament about this deal, and I'm not able to answer them honestly in the absence of information from the entity itself.
I mean, you speak about accountability. What will the consequences be for the SA tourism executives who pushed this deal, including acting CEO Themba Khumalo?
Well, the consequence will, that's why I need to confirm that there is a contract. I've not seen any contract. And that is why I also need to confirm that did they cancel the contract or the discussions or the proposal. That they need to confirm to me in writing. Yes, there are consequences for any state entity or state department that spend money irregularly or unauthorized in terms of the Audit Amendment Act. The Auditor General will certainly raise these issues, and then we must be able to answer to her. So yes, if it can be found that there was unauthorized irregular expenditure, there will be consequences.
What about SA Tourism's former acting CFO, Johan Van Der Walt's involvement in this deal? He was alleged as having some ties, close ties, to an agency that was about to cash in on this deal. Of course, we know that he's since resigned.
Yes, what I did have a meeting with the board of South African Tourism last week, and I was told that when they questioned him about not declaring his interest in that company, and I understand that so far we've paid that company almost 31 million, that he then resigned when they asked him questions about his links with the company. But it is then for the entity itself to take action against him. But he has left the system, so we will have to see how we pursue the matter.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about accountability and taking some form of action, yes. But I think yes. Essentially the consequences should be very, very harsh, because what was about to happen here, or what is happening, because there's no formalities to show that the deal has been closed, is going to be, or was going to be, catastrophic, especially looking at the country's current economic state.
Yes, you are so right. The other point too is that when we approve the budget, which is 1.5 billion rand a year to South African tourism, they must provide Parliament and the department an annual performance plan of what are they going to implement. From what we can see, that when this 1.5 billion was transferred to the entity, that there was nothing in about this proposed deal. So that is why the members of Parliament are also asking the question, when did this come up? Because it was, in terms of the budget, it was not approved by Parliament. So there are a lot of unanswered questions. I think by Wednesday, the 29th of March, we will be able to account to South Africans finally where we are. If the board answer my questions, they have sent me an interim response Friday morning, the 24th. So I must also be fair. I have to wait for their official response on the 29th of March.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Minister Patricia de Lille. Thank you for your
time.
Thank you. Tourism Minister Patricia de Lille there, explaining her, efforts in trying to get to the bottom of this Tottenham deal, and saying that it's illegal and it should be stopped. So we'll wait to hear the outcome, the response from the SA Tourism Board.